Welcome to today's second video. So in the first video we reviewed and then we did a book assignment, and we did a book assignment on page 27 and we did numbers 1 through 14. So what we're going to do is run through these problems 1 through 14 and give answers and make corrections here for you and give you some last minute pointers, and then you guys can get ready for the test by taking one last Schoology quiz here before the test tomorrow. All right, so first set of directions here are to write as a decimal. So 7/20. So I don't know what that is off the top of my head. So what I'm going to do is long division. And so the denominator number on the outside goes in front, and then the 7 goes inside. Now 20 does not go into 7, so I'm going to put my decimal down. And then I'm going to fill in my place. So how many times does 20 go into 70? So I count 20, 40, 60, 80 is too much. So I'm going to go back to 3, and that's 20, 40, 60. So 3 times 20 is 60. 70 minus 60 is 10. So we have a remainder of 10. We got to keep going. Remember, we're looking for a finite or a repeating decimal. So 20 goes into 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Oh, it goes in there evenly 5 times. So 5 times 20 is going to be 100, and we do not have a remainder. So my answer here is going to be 0.35, 35 hundredths. All right, if you notice here in number 2, we have this repeating decimal. So this one's going to be a mixed number. So we have 1 and we have 27 on top. And when we have repeating, remember that's when we have our 9s on the bottom. So we're supposed to write this one. Some of them, your directions are right as a decimal and some are right as a fraction. Since this one is a decimal, we are going to write it as a fraction. And then we always want to simplify. So the number 9 goes into both of those. So 27 divided by 9 is 3. And 99 divided by 9 is 11. So we have 1 and 3 11s. All right, number 3. Sometimes this gets a little tricky for kids because it is a mixed number here. And so what we're going to have to do to write this as a decimal, this is going to be 1 point something. So this decimal value is what we're going to get from the 7/8. So I'm going to take 8 out in front and goes into 7, which it doesn't. So I'm going to put down my decimal. And how many times does 8 go into 70? Well, 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 9 is 72. That's too big. So I'm going to pick the 8, and I have 64. So 70 minus 64 is 6. So we still have a remainder, so I'm going to add a 0. And let's see, 8 goes into 60. Well, 8 times 8 was 64, so I have to go 1 less. So 8 times 7 is 56. 60 minus 56 is 4. So now I'm going to bring down that 0, and 8 goes into 40 5 times. And your decimal ends up being 0. So we have 1.875. So don't get confused and use that 1 in your long division. That just stays out in front. All right, number 4, solve for x. So what number can we square to get 81? And it's 9, and don't forget that -9 value. All right, next one. Now we need 3 numbers that multiply together to get 343. So if I try 5, remember they need to be the same. 5 times 5 times 5, well, that's 25. 25 times 5 is 125, so that's not big enough. So let's try 7 times 7 times 7. So 7 times 7 is 49. So let's see, 49 times 7. 9 times 7 is going to be 63. That's looking promising. 6. So 7 times 4 is 28. 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. All right, so it looks like it works. So what cubed gives me 374? And the answer is 7. All right, what squared gives me 100? Now remember, when we write this as a fraction, all that means is we're going to have a top and a bottom. I just have to do it twice. So the square root of 1 is 1, and the square root of 100 is 10. Now, just like number 4, we have to have two answers. So if it's 1/10, we also need negative 1/10. So positive and negative, we're always going to have two roots. There are always two roots. All right, a square patio. So the big thing here is the fact that it is a square. That means that all the sides are the same length. Has an area of 200 square feet. How long is each side? And we are going to round to the 10th, which means one place past the decimal. I know your directions might say 0.05, but we're always going to round to the 10th. So what times what? Well, let's see. 12 times 12 is 144. 15 times 15 is 225. So that's a little too big. So 14 times 14 is 196. Well, 200 is a lot closer to 196. So I'm going to say about 14.1. And what do we have? Feet. Okay, now 14.1, I would also accept 14.2 feet. So if you had any one of those for an answer, I would accept either one. You don't need both, you only need one. All right, write all names that apply. So that's the stuff when we're talking about real, and then rational and irrational, integers and whole numbers. Okay, well, I see this symbol right here that I even skip 8 because I see that pi, and pi is irrational. So this one's going to be all these numbers are real and then irrational. All right, number 8. So the square root of 21 is a perfect square. So we have 121 over, and the square root of 121 is 11. So now 121 divided by 11 is 11. So what all fits? Well, all of them have to be real. And now you have to decide, is it rational or irrational? Well, this one's going to be rational. And is it an integer? Yep, we're going to eventually say this. So this is an integer. And just start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we end up saying it. So it is also whole. Okay, so rational, real, integer, and whole. All right, are all integers rational? Are all integers rational? And that is true. Every single integer can be written as a fraction. So like -5, you can write it -5 over 1. So 127, we can write it over 1. So anything can be written as a fraction. All right, compare. All right, so we've got some square roots here. So square root of 1, square root of 2, square root of 3, square root of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is 3. Square root of 4 is 2 and 1. So the square root of 8 fits here. So let's just say that that is 2.9 plus 3. Looks like we have 5.9. Well, 5.9 is already smaller than 8, so we're going to put less than in there. All right, the square root of 5 is just a little bit bigger than 2, so let's just say 2.2 plus 11, 11, 12, 13. So we have 13.2. All right, the square root of 11 is just beyond, so we're going to guess about 3.3. And 3.3 plus 5 is 8.3. Well, 13 is definitely bigger than 8. So we are going to put a greater than symbol in there. All right, number 13, order from least to greatest. Let's see, the square root of 99 is super close to 100, and the square root of 100 is 10. And 3.1 squared, so it's going to be a little bit bigger than 9. So I'm just going to guess this is going to come out to be about 9.3. So let's see, what is the smallest number here? So the smallest is going to be pi squared. Then it looks like that 9.8 repeating, and then the square root of 99 is going to be your biggest. All right, in here, 1/4, remember that's a quarter, so that's like 0.25, and remember this is repeating, so it's 0.22. So 22 is less than 25, so this one's smaller than that one. Now let's see over here. The square root of 1, so if you do them individually, the square root of 1 is 1, and the square root of 25 is 5. So what is 1/5? We'll take 100 and divide it into 5. So if you count 20, 40, 60, 80, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, that's dividing it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1/5 is going to be 0.20. Okay, now that they're all to the same place value, we can just look 20, 22, 25. So the smallest number is going to be the square root of 1/25. Then it's 22, so it's 0.2 repeating, and the biggest number is 1/4. All right, that brings us to the end of the assignment. So what you're going to do now is go to Schoology, and then there is a quiz there for you to do that's graded as assignment. So there's a Schoology quiz, and it should say Review Module 1. All right, good luck.